When you make a decision, stand by it with confidence, but also show that you are open to hearing different viewpoints.
Welcome to the Voice Room Podcast, Singapore's one and only podcast dedicated to unlocking the power of your voice, perfecting your speech, and mastering the art of communication. Whether you're a student, a professional, or someone looking to elevate your presentations, you're in the right place. Now, let's dive into today's conversation with your host, the expert in voice, speech, and communication, Karina Tien.
Welcome back to the Voice Room Podcast. I'm your host, Karina Tien, and today we are going to dive into a powerful topic for leaders, managers, and anyone who wants to communicate effectively. How to balance authority and approachability in communication. Whether you are managing a team, leading a project, or working with clients, it is essential to strike the right balance between being authoritative and approachable. Too much authority, you will risk coming across like rigid or unapproachable. On the flip side, too much approachability and you might struggle to assert control or establish clear boundaries. The key is to find that sweet spot where you can earn respect while remaining accessible and relatable.
Okay.
Today, we will explore strategies for achieving this balance and share practical examples along the way. By the end of this episode, you will find some actionable insights that will help you communicate with both confidence and warmth. Let's get started. Let's talk about why this balance matters. As a leader, communication is the key part of your role. If you are too authoritative, you may create a work environment that feels oppressive or disconnected. On the other hand, if you are too approachable and friendly, people might not take your instructions seriously or respect your leadership. When you balance these two traits, you are able to create a culture where people feel valued and heard, but also clear on expectation and boundaries. It allows your team to feel comfortable coming to you with ideas or concerns, but also understand that you are in charge when it's time to make decisions. So how do you actually find this balance? Let's break it down into some practical tips.
Okay.
Tip number 1, project confidence, not arrogance. When we talk about authority, we are talking about projecting confidence and not arrogance. Confidence means being certain in your knowledge and decisions, but also being open to feedback and new perspective. Arrogance, on the other hand, create a sense of distance and make people less likely to speak up or engage with you. Here are some ways to project confidence without crossing into arrogance. Number 1, speak clearly and with purpose. Use assertive language, but avoid being overbearing or domineering. For example, instead of saying, "I think we should do this," say, "Here's the plan moving forward." This demonstrates leadership without being overbearing. Number 2, own your decisions, but be willing to listen. When you make a decision, stand by it with confidence, but also show that you are open to hearing different viewpoints. This signals that you value input but are ultimately responsible for the directions. Number 3, lead with a positive tone. When you give instructions or feedback, do so in a way that inspires confidence, rather than using negative or critical language that can make people feel small. Here is an example. Imagine you are leading a team meeting. Instead of saying, "This needs to be done my way and there's no room for discussion," you could say, "Here's the approach we will take, and I'm open to your feedback if you think there's a better way to handle it." Tip number 2, be approachable by showing empathy. Approachability is all about being relatable and empathetic. Letting people know that you understand their concerns, that you care about their well-being, and that you are someone they can turn to when they need help. Here are a few ways to show empathy while still maintaining authority. Number 1, acknowledge emotions. When someone is frustrated or stressed, acknowledging the emotions show them that you are not just focused on task at hand. A simple, I can see that you are feeling overwhelmed. Let's figure this out together, can help people feel heard. Create an open door policy. This doesn't mean you have to physically leave your door open all the time, but make it clear that you are accessible. Encourage your team to come to you with questions or concerns and assure them that they won't be dismissed. Number 3, ask for input and actively listen. A key part of approachability is actively involving your team in decisions. Encourage open dialogue and ask for feedback. This shows that you value their perspectives without diminishing your role as a leader. Here is an example. Let's say you have a team member who is struggling with a particular task. Instead of simply telling them to get it done, you could approach the situation by saying, I understand this project is challenging. Let's talk about where you are getting stuck and see how we can tackle this together. Tip number 3, use clear, direct communication. One of the most effective ways to strike a balance between authority and approachability is through clear and direct communication. When you are clear in your communication, you project authority. When you communicate with warmth and empathy, you maintain your approachability. Here are some ways to be both clear and approachable in your communication. Number 1, be transparent. Let people know the reasoning behind your decision. When your team understands why something is happening, they are more likely to respect your leadership and feel more comfortable approaching you. Number 2, set clear expectation. Whether it's about a project deadline or workplace behavior, clarity on expectations eliminates ambiguity and helps people feel more secure in their roles. But remember, you don't have to be overly rigid. Allow room for flexibility when needed. Number 3, avoid jargon or complicated language. When you communicate with your team, make sure your message is easy to understand. Avoid being too formal or using unnecessary jargon that could alienate people or make you seem distant. Here is an example. Instead of saying, let's implement the new protocol for Q3 to maximize operational synergy, you could say, let's start using the new system by the end of this quarter to make things run more smoothly and efficiently. Your team will understand your direction without feeling like you're talking down to them. Tip number 4, be consistent in your approach. To maintain trust and respect, it is important to be consistent in your communication. Inconsistent messaging can confuse your team and erode your authority, while consistency helps reinforce your role as a leader who is both accessible and dependable.
Hey, I wanted to share something close to my heart. I'm designing a new voice experience for next year to help you sound confident, natural, and connected. Sign up for early access on the Voice Room podcast page. See you soon!
Here is how you can be consistent. Follow through on your commitments. When you say you are going to do something, make sure you do it. If you promise to address an issue or check in on something, follow up as promised. Set a tone for the team. If you're approachable but firm in your leadership, your team will mirror the behavior. Consistency in how you communicate set a tone that others will follow. Be predictable in your responses. People should know how you are likely to respond in different situations. Whether they are seeking advice, seeking for feedback, or raising a concern, your response should always be aligned with your leadership style, firm yet approachable. For example, if you regularly praise your team for hard work, but sometimes come across as too critical without offering solutions, your team might feel demotivated. Consistency in acknowledging efforts and providing constructive feedback is key to building trust and maintaining approachability. In conclusion, balancing authority and approachability is an ongoing process that requires practice and self-awareness. By projecting confidence without arrogance, showing empathy, communicating clearly and directly, and maintaining consistency, you will be able to establish a leadership style that encourages both respect and connection. Remember, it is not about being one or the other. It is about being both. When you find that balance, you will foster a work environment where your team feels valued and understood, while also knowing that you are in control and capable of making tough decisions when necessary. Thank you once again for joining me today on the Voice Room podcast. If you found these tips useful, make sure you share, subscribe, leave a comment, and follow us on Instagram at The Voice Room for more communication strategies. Until next time, I'm Karina Tien, and this has been the Voice Room podcast.